That's one of the tools that we found immediately effective for students because it's simply easier and more fun than to do the same thing while looking at oneself in a mirror, which is how I learned. It's effective, but it's not terribly fun, and one can quickly become self-conscious. A primary aspect of a conductor's job is to unite the musicians in time, and they do that largely through nonverbal communication, through gestures, through even just a pointed look. A conductor can and should be able to communicate their intentions to the musicians without having to speak. But in order to do that, conductors need to develop that vocabulary of gestures that I referenced earlier. In a virtual reality setting, we can enable them to engage with gestures in a much more low-stakes environment and literally augment their approach to this challenging problem by uniting it with real-world scenarios.
I always wanted to learn conducting and had experience with it in high school, and I wanted to learn more about the craft. When I signed up for the class, I didn't know that there would be a virtual reality component to it. And then a few weeks into the semester, the professor mentioned that we had to go to a tech lab for a VR experience, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anything about where virtual reality technology was with conducting. And the first app I tried was Masterclass, which was the interactive game. And that was really cool because I had never had that experience of conducting an ensemble in front of in a game and having it interactive, and it felt like it was combining a lot of the things I like and am interested in into one game. And even though it wasn't the most accurate to conducting, it was really fun. And there was Ribbons, which was more of a learning app where it would follow your hand as you conducted. And you could also put in sheet music to follow and a metronome and change tick marks.
We were using an app called Ribbons, and with that app, the student has essentially a ribbon attached to the end of their finger or to the end of the baton. And they're able to, within this space, which is essentially a black box with the headset on, the student can watch these ribbons come off of their baton. And it helps them start to explore fluidity in space. It helps them start to see if the degree to which they think they're striking the beat plane is represented in that ribbon. Another thing that we've been using that I'm particularly excited about is filming rehearsal and concert footage using 360 cameras. With these cameras, the student can essentially place themselves with the headset on in the position of the conductor.
I liked the 360 video assignment the most because there was a goal for it. We were using it to practice for the final. And then 360 video was helpful because it allowed you to practice in front of an ensemble. And usually when you're practicing conducting, you are doing it in front of a mirror, or maybe you have a stand in front of you with a diagram of where everyone is in the ensemble, but you don't always get the experience of knowing what it's like for everyone to be looking at you for direction and leadership.
So this was immediately helpful, I think, in helping students become more comfortable getting in front of their peers, especially when we used it in class, because that way on the headset they're actually looking into their peers' eyes through the headset. And that enabled them to feel more comfortable, I believe, in class. However, we've only been able to kind of reach the tip of the iceberg because there's so much more that I think we can do with the 360 footage and with existing software applications, and that's going to be the next step.